All right, Chair we are ready to go. We are live on YouTube and broadcasting through our webinar. And so the meeting is yours.
Thank you very much. And thanks to everybody for being here. Okay, the meeting is now called to order. And Steve, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
You bet. Please stand as you are able. Put your right hand on your heart and repeat after me. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And may we have roll call?
Chair Maggie Bird,
I'm here.
Adriana Vandergraff has been excused. Matthew Johnston, Shane Warburton, Buzz Patterson has been excused. James Flickinger, Gerald Abramson,
Here.
John Cornell,
Here.
Steve Weiss has been excused, and Steve Tannehill.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, first is approval of the minutes of the September meeting. And do I have any motion on that or any questions?
Well, I had one comment, and I'm fine approving the minutes as they are. As you know, I did vote against the money for the taxiway, and in the minutes, it's references only the fact that air traffic is not coming back. But a big part of what I had a problem with was the cost overruns and the scope and scale of the costs that were up to $40 million. And so those were two other elements that led to my vote. So now that I voiced them, maybe in the minutes for tonight's meeting, those comments can be included and we can just vote to approve the minutes from last meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Any second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Chair Maggie Bird,
Yes.
Matthew Johnston. Oh, your roll for.
There it goes. Here.
Are you going to abstain from the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gerald Abramson,
Yes.
John Cornell,
Yes.
and Steve Tannehill.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes with one abstention.
Thank you. And I would like to interject something here just before we get into the public comment period, which has nothing to do with that. But I've been on this commission for quite a while, and I've noticed that we've been doing something a little bit differently, and I don't understand it. It has to do excuse me, with information that has been given to us. And we're actually taking a vote on receive and file. And in the past, I don't remember doing that, and we can't unreceive something just if we vote against it. So if it's been received, we just are going to file it. It's on this agenda just for our information. All right. Well, if no one wants to rebut that, that's fine. Okay, public comment period. Okay.
Chair Bird, I'd like to read out this notice for public comment.
Please.
For those joining remotely, if you'd like to be added to the public comment queue, please be connected via Zoom. If not already connected and wish to make a public comment, you can find the Zoom link on the first page of the meeting agenda, which can be found at vcairports.org/meeting-calendar. If you wish to make a public comment on agenda item number 5, please press the raise hand button now. Or if you are calling in today, press star, then 9 to be added to the speaker queue. If you wish to make a written comment on a specific agenda item by email or mail, Please submit your comment by 12 p.m. on the day prior to the meeting. Your written comment will be distributed to commission members and made a part of the permanent meeting record. Written comments will be made available to the public and can be viewed online at vcairports.org/meeting-archives or in person at the Airport Administration Office located at 555 Airport Way, Suite B, Camarillo, California, 93010. Public comments submitted in writing are public record and subject to disclosure. An unredacted version is made available when records are requested by a Public Records Act request. Please do not submit personal contact information you do not wish to be made public. And at this time, we do not have anybody from the public wishing to speak on Zoom. And Denise?
There are no comment cards at this time.
Okay, yeah, you'll let us know if there are. Okay, new business. A review and approval of the 2024 Aviation Advisory Commission meeting calendar. It's a recommendation that staff requests that your commission review and approve the 2024 Aviation Advisory Commission meeting calendar.
I'd like to move that we approve the calendar.
I'll second that.
I can't second.
Question, I noticed you have August in here. In the past couple of years, we've canceled August. Is it just in case we decide to meet in August or?
We typically, the commission would not meet in August and December, but yes, we have scheduled the dates. Should
Just-
something, just to have them on at the time.
Thank you.
Any more comments on that? No, okay. Where am I? Hang on, I got lost. Okay, no, that's a receive and file.
Chair Maggie Bird, we're going to check for public comments before we move to the next item.
Oh, yes, you have some?
No, we're just checking.
Oh, okay.
I do not see anybody that wishes to speak on this agenda item.
Okay. Okay, review and approve. It does say it under this topic. So, okay, do I have a motion? He did, okay,
And I
right.
second it.
Okay, great. And we had the discussion, right? Any discussion? Any more? No, okay. Roll call, please.
Chair Maggie Bird,
Yes,
Matthew Johnston,
Yes,
Gerald Abramson,
Yes.
John Cornell,
Yes.
and Steve Tannehill.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
hey, thank you. Okay, the next subject is receive and file a monthly staff update from Communications and Engagement Manager regarding Ventura County airports. Recommendation is to receive and file a monthly staff update from Communication and Engagement Manager regarding Ventura County airports.
Good evening to you all. My name is Jeanette Haragi. I'm the Communications and Engagement Manager for the Ventura County Department of Airports, also Public Information Officer. The County of Ventura Department of Airports was established in 1976 and manages Camarillo Airport and Oxnard Airport. Together, these airports provide vital connections to the national airspace system and are home to many businesses and individual aircraft owners, all of whom contribute to the economic vitality of Ventura County and or serve as philanthropic contributors through a variety of nonprofit organizations. Such contributions are often made without knowledge to the general public. International, national, and locally based organizations such as Pilots for Pause, Angel Flight, Lighthawk, and VC-99s, and the Experimental Aircraft Association, and many more are all heroes in local aviation. The Department of Airports is highlighting these unsung heroes through periodic short feature stories designed to not only put a spotlight on those who tirelessly serve the community, but to also help educate the community about a portion of local aviation that is often overlooked. Excuse me. Tonight, I eagerly share our second story in the series, focusing on Al Cossey's work with Angel Flight West. And Al Cossey is pictured here, and he's also sitting right behind me. Chances are that when most Ventura County residents think of Camarillo and Oxnard airports, they think of current operations made up of mostly flight training, private jets, and businesses, including Golden West Jet Center, Aspen Helicopters, Cloud9, and the Waypoint Cafe, just to name a few. Mixed in are likely memories of when Camarillo Airport was an Air Force base through the 1960s, or when Oxnard Airport's terminal was bustling with commercial travelers. There are likely even memories of the critical part Oxnard Airport played in the Army Air Corps and Navy during World War II. What many arguably don't know is that the role of both airports extends well beyond traditional operations and into the realm of national nonprofit organizations that focus on environmental conservation, life-changing flights to medical appointments, and animal rescue and sheltering, all made possible by locally based pilots who volunteer their time, fuel, and planes to conduct missions aimed at making a difference. Among those pilots is Al Cossey, a Ventura County resident based at Camarillo Airport. Cossey is one of 348 active command pilots for the California South wing of Angel Flight West, a nonprofit organization based out of Santa Monica. Over the last 40 years, Angel Flight West has provided safe and accessible transportation to more than 20,000 individuals needing assistance to and from medical appointments and other destinations at no charge. The organization was originally established by volunteer pilots looking for a way to give back. Initially recognized as the American Medical Support Flight Team, the organization merged with Angel Flight, a nationally based nonprofit, and has completed 3,600 missions this year alone. This month, the organization will mark its 100,000th flight since its inception in the 1980s. There are 12 separate wings, and of the 12 wings, the California South Wing is the largest and most active, Cossey said. We might be based in Southern California, but we will fly anywhere that is needed. Made up of volunteer pilots, Angel Flight focuses its work on ambulatory patients with no other means of transportation to medical appointments, including surgeries, chemotherapy, burn care, and transplants. There are missions for children with severe burn scars headed to summer camps with other kids who have been through the same trauma. It's a place they feel safe, Cossey said. And there are missions with urgent blood donations. The scope of work is nearly endless. It was developed to fill a need, Cossey said. All pilots are volunteers who believe wholeheartedly in the purpose of every mission. The original founders credited the decision to not reimburse volunteer pilots for expenses as a major contributor to assuring that those joining the organization did it for the right reason, to serve. Cossey added that missions were initially based on requests from hospital administrators or medical professionals, a requirement that has changed over time. Individual patients may now request their own flights, but medical documentation is still required to verify the need. Once scheduled, a volunteer known as a ground angel picks the client up from their home to take them to their destination airport. A volunteer command pilot then flies them to the requested airport, where a second ground angel picks them up to take them to their appointment. What happens when weather is a problem or pilots aren't available? Angel Flight West has an established partnership with Alaskan and Southwest Airlines, and tickets are available for those in need. Additionally, if a ground angel isn't available, Angel Flight schedules and pays for ground transportation such as Uber or Lyft to and from the airport. Cossey flies a handful of missions monthly in his Cessna 182 and noted that many pilots fly repeated missions with the same patients and get to know them well. There is an established rapport, and when we receive updates on clients, he said, including those who have passed, well, it hits us hard and reminds us why we're there. He continued, "You're saving lives, human lives, and I can't think of anything more meaningful than that." For more information or to learn how to get involved, visit angelflightwest.org. And I'd like to extend my thanks and gratitude to Al for sharing his story and allowing us the opportunity to shed light on a story that most people in the community probably are unaware of.
I'd like to add my thanks, and I'm sure I'm speaking for the whole commission. It was a wonderful, interesting report. And thank you too. We just can't say enough nice things about people that do these kind of missions. So thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're just going to receive and file this. Okay. Next subject. Receive and file financial reports for the period ending June 30th, 2023. Staff requests of commission authorities receive and file the unaudited financial reports for the period ending June 30, 2023.
I don't know if we have a slide or any questions in the packet, pages 20 through 28. Any questions from commission members? Here we have a summary. You know, the most important overall is what the bottom line combined the airport's operating gains, including depreciation and without. But you can see we continue to average above our positive numbers and accumulation. You'll see that in the last page, on page 28, that we moved from about $15 million in reserves to 19 million at this day. So we continue, and we need those reserves. We got some fairly big projects coming up, as you heard, temporary runway repair here at Camarillo, and then ultimately replacement and all the other projects that we've got on the book. So, but things look positive. We do continue to focus on Oxnard. Camarillo has a business park here, so those revenues are higher because it's got a business park attached to this airport and larger operation. With about 450 based airplanes here at Camarillo compared to 150 based at Oxnard. But we continue with some of the projects coming online. Some of the development projects we've talked about. We've got a 5-acre and a 7-acre project that, you know, those projects typically take years to come to fruition, but they're on the books and in the planning cycle. So happy to answer any specific questions. We've got our accounting manager here as well. If there's too much detail or more detail needed, then I can provide, but happy to go through.
Well, I don't hear any questions or comments. I guess you've made a good report.
I have a few questions.
Of course.
It comes from reading the material, actually. When you read it, there's things that jump out at you. So I see we have $500,000 of interest income, which is, I think, a positive variance, and that's wonderful to see. Is that on our 20 million, 15 million, or where did that come from?
So that is correct. I think that's page 22 that Steve, that you had mentioned earlier. Interest rates are better than they were a couple of years ago when they were 0.02%.
Right.
And, you know, we have very stringent restrictions on we as a government entity where we can put our money. We
Yes.
can't just throw it in the stock market. But interest rates are much better on those very secure things, which is leading to these nice sizable interests. So that's what that number is, correct.
Well, it's great to see, and kudos for that, to put that money to good use. That's very meaningful. Obviously, that that alone covers, you know, a lot.
Yes.
I noticed we had 90,000 in insurance proceeds at Oxnard. I was curious what that was about.
So that has to do with the fire that we had at Oxnard, you know, earlier in the year, I guess it is at this point.
Oh, yeah. In the
That was
terminal.
caused by one of our rental car companies. So we're expecting that number probably to hit near $500,000. Most of that would be put on the rental car company. Some of that we are going to have to eat. We had to do some upgrades. We chose some things that are better quality.
Right.
So some of that will come out of our own pocket, but majority it will be the insurance company. So that's the first
So that
small piece of that.
that fire was from the rental car company and will be made whole on that with the insurance proceeds.
Again,
Yeah.
whole as close as we can be. It was actually from a computer monitor. Luckily, and there was an internal camera provided by the rental car company that shows the monitor start firing and just go up to the ceiling and do the damage from there.
Crazy. Thank you for that. Moving along in the salaries and wages, those were down $300,000. Is that something we can anticipate going forward, or is it unfilled positions, or?
You hit it on the head, unfilled positions and attrition. So we had, you know, positions we've added that have not been filled yet, and then also some attrition folks that have left us. And it takes months in our government process to fill those positions, typically several, minimum 3 months. So.
The same page, the professional and specialized services was down, goodness, like $1 million. If I read that right?
Yeah,
We
close to-
budgeted $1.5 million and spent $500,000 again. Is that?
with the adjusted, at the beginning of the year, actually several months before the fiscal year starts, 4 to 6 months, you're projecting what you're going to expend with consultants. Those are professional services, and what you're going to expand on design and projects and things like that. And at this point, we just didn't meet that because we got busy with other things. So we didn't expend those dollars.
So it's just kind of pushed off in the future? Is that probably
Many
a fair way to
times,
think
that's
of that?
what the case is, correct.
Okay. Well, those are my questions. I thought they were useful. I hope you find them so, but again, kudos. I think it's a great report. $500,000 you earned by investing our money is wonderful to see, and the savings. So I appreciate it very much.
For some reason, they won't let me go to the casinos and double it really quick, but that's probably a good thing, right?
I wondered about that entry over here.
Really quick, if I may, Maggie, the comments, my mic is on. I've had mic troubles. I switched mics, but regarding those developments in Oxnard, I know things take a long time. I understand that they're maybe through the planning or working their way through different processes. Is there any idea for kind of lengths of time that you think we might start seeing some activity there related to those projects?
So we don't break any ground rules. I would suggest we agendize that for an update
All right.
in the near future. So yes, makes sense.
Any other comments, questions?
Actually, one more,
Chair,
just one more quick compliment. The where you showed the investing activities with the federal and state grants as a separate line item. I don't remember seeing it that way before, but I thought it was very clear and helped me understand how you were able to bring the reserve from 15 to $19 million. So thank you for that as well.
So you've beaten us up enough times. We listen. We try to make it as clear as possible. And our accounting team does a fabulous job of translating that for us. So we appreciate that as well.
Okay, thank you very much for your report.
Chair, I just wanted to mention we do not have any public members wishing to speak.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next subject, receive and file staff update on current Part 150 noise compatibility studies for Camarillo and Oxnard airports. And it's recommended that we receive and file an update on current Part 150 airport noise compatibility studies for Camarillo and Oxnard airports.
Good evening, Chair Bird, Commission members, Aaron Powers. Yes, I'm here back again to report on the Part 150 noise studies. And we can go ahead. Many of you may be aware, we held our second round of public meetings. So I just wanted to report a little information from those meetings, starting with the Oxnard Airport noise study. We held that on September 25th, we held a PAC meeting, a public advisory committee meeting for the noise study, and we had approximately 20 members of the PAC attend, which is a nice number. Later that evening, we had the public meeting, and we had 10 members of the public attend. The following day at Camarillo, we followed the same format. In the afternoon, we had the PAC meeting. We had 17 members of the PAC attend. And then in the evening, we had 58 members of the public attend the public portion of the meeting, which was a nice showing. The meetings focused on the next chapters that had been developed. The first meeting, if you may recall, actually focused on chapters 1 and 2, which included the inventory and the forecasts, and the chapters that were focused on for the second public meeting involved aviation noise and noise impacts. This is really, if we could go to the next slide. The project timeline kind of helps give you a visual, but the overall noise study is broken into two parts. One is the NEMs, the noise exposure maps, which is going to be the first half of this study. And then the second half is the NCP, or the noise compatibility plan. And so we have been focused on the NEM part of the study. We just wrapped up chapters 3 and 4. This included, as I mentioned, aviation noise and noise impacts. It also included the data from the monitoring efforts that we extended over 4 separate months leading up to these September meetings. And now I just really want to let you know where we go from here. So we've shared all the chapters that are and the indexes, or I'm sorry, appendices that support those chapters that will make up the first part of the study, and they have been available in draft form. We will be reviewing comments received and making and finalizing the chapters. And once we finalize chapters 3 and 4, we will well, I should say, we will be submitting those to the FAA next month in November. We are expecting to have Kaufman return and provide a brief overview of the NEM chapter, or this first half of the study, and share that information with you, and so that we can move forward with submitting the final chapters to the FAA. The FAA will need to approve the noise exposure maps, and then that will allow us to really turn our efforts and focus to the noise compatibility plan. And that really is where that's really where the public once I'm not sure. I know some of you were able to attend either the PAC or the public meetings, but the conclusions from the noise exposure maps, the contours, largely stay close to the airport, and Camarillo don't reach any residences for the study parameters for that 65 CNEL. And over at Oxnard Airport, there is some exposure, but it's very limited to a northeast quadrant. And so Kaufman will be able to provide a little bit more information on that. But the difficult part is that doesn't address the concerns that a lot of our community has. So that's really where we're going to go with the noise compatibility plan. And we'll be developing, our timeline actually shows that we expect to have the first or the NCP meeting in May of 2024. So we'll be in between, we'll be working to wrap up the first half of the noise study and turning that into the FAA for approval, as I described. And then we'll be turning to out details of what the NCP process will be to make sure that we engage the community. So what we can do to. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Very good explanation. We appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions or comments? No, I guess
you.
you've made it quite clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the record, we do not have anybody wishing to speak on this item
Okay.
in Zoom.
Thank you. Okay, director's report.
All right, so let's see if we can wrap this up. We do have, I think, a video we hosted in our Camarillo here next to the Waypoint Cafe, a little park that we have. Management Council, Ventura County Management Council. Dave was gracious enough to give a little talk there, and we utilized the park for any attendance. Help me out, Dave, Aaron. At the management, 30 or so managers. What was the number? 30 or so managers.
Yeah, yeah, it was well attended at the viewport. Yeah, about 25 managers, I'd say is
Very good. Second item, the private lease transition that I think Madeline, last meeting kind of briefed you on. We had set a target date to get the last 25 or so folks inspected and into the new agreements. Given the feedback from this group and from the airport authorities, we've kind of bumped it another month to December 1st. So we're still moving forward. That number 25 has already been reduced after we sent out our about third notice that, hey, the deadline is coming. It's really coming. And so she's already got several that have already moved in to the process to get through that. There was a request, although Shane is not here tonight, asking about auto pay feature. We're still working on that with the new online payment app. We'll hopefully have more information on that at the next meeting. Next item, our supervisors. I've been talking about the aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles. We had budgeted for a new one. We came up with a new plan, which was get some slightly used surplus vehicles. We were able to get a donated vehicle for our primary from Burbank Airport, and we have finally got approval, and we're just doing the final paperwork for the sale, $14,000 of the slightly used one from SFO. Hopefully have that here and operational by the end of the year. So pretty nice to use slightly used vehicles for all in about $14,000. We'll have to do some upgrades and things like that, but as opposed to a new one, which runs, between 800,000 and $1 million, pretty good deal. So, and again, they're military spec built. These things last, 30 years. We expect to get at least 10 years out of these used vehicles. Next item, just an update. You've heard me several months ago talk about strategic planning. We did hired a company to help us do, where do we want to be in 10 years? They did surveys with all of our stakeholders, internal and external. So some of you may have gotten calls for some of that interviews. So we're working through that. Today was the kickoff meeting with our full staff to really get buy-in to where we're headed and what we need to do as a team in the next 10 years. So pretty excited about that and just started to kick that off. Oh, and here's a picture of the group today. So very positive, and as we move forward, we will update you on that. And the last item I just want to touch on, we have our second public meeting scheduled for the airport layout plan update for Camarillo Airport. It is set for November 14th between 5:30 and 7:30 p.m. at the Camarillo Library, same location that we had the first meeting, and that's located at 4101 Las Posas Road. Again, November 14th and between 5:30 and 7:30. And that's all I have for the director's report, unless there's any additional questions.
Go ahead.
I have just one question, Director Freitas, on the noise report. For Camarillo, it appears that we had a pretty big spike in noise complaints in August, if I read that correctly. And I'm just curious if you have any color you can give us on what might have happened there.
Anything, maybe Jeanette, give some background on that you're.
So I don't have the report in front of me, but I believe in comparison to previous months for August was actually down. I'd have to go back and look, but also any increase would likely be attributed to the air show for August.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for a very comprehensive report, Keith. Thank you. Anything from the public? Nobody wants to talk to us. Okay.
Nothing from the public at this time.
Okay, and then reviewing to the reports, just for information purposes. Okay, and correspondence. Do we have any comments on the correspondence? No? All right. Then I guess. Got my pages mixed up here. Okay, so that was. Yeah, we just need to adjourn, right? Mm-hmm.
Commission comments?
Well, we've already been making comments all the way through, yep. Any other comments before we close?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, any seconds?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Would take a roll. Chair Maggie Bird,
Yes,
Matthew Johnston,
Yes.
Gerald Abramson.
Yeah.
John Corno,
Yes.
Steve Tannehill,
Yes.
and we're adjourned at 7:06 PM. Thank you.